Well, I want to go over a product that's in sports medicine that works like a miracle. As a matter of fact, this product was discovered quite some years ago, some decades ago, in 1960 by Dr. Stanley Jacob in the Oregon Transplant Clinic in the state of Oregon. Yeah, it was a transplant clinic for hearts, mainly back at that time. This is something that is used as an anti-inflammatory, but it also has a number of uses. Today, it is not sold as something that has medical uses, although it's included in some things like topical ointments that could be used for sore muscles or having aches and pains in the back or whatever. It's DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. Just remember DMSO. One of the problems that this presents for other ingredients or other products, other products out there that are competing with it, is that DMSO is produced by the ton every year as a byproduct of the wood paper pulp making industry. Now, that makes it too cheap to be something that people would want to put on the market, that because it can't be patented, it's plentiful, but it works like a miracle. One of the things that's interesting about it, when it was first discovered, that it had a lot of properties that worked for arthritis and other problems of, say back pain or inflammation or whatever, cysts, and whatever, that you would have problems where you're trying to move your arm or your wrist or your hand. And, well, when they discovered this had all these properties that it worked like a miracle really fast, at first they were like rejoicing. Oh my God, this is a great product. Then they realized, oh, this is going to knock out a lot of other products that we have that we are making a lot of money on. So they moved to ban to make it illegal. But what happened, though, even when it's not illegal today. It might be illegal in some other countries or someplace, I'm not sure, but as far as I know, in every state in the United States, it's legal. You can buy it online, but it's sold as a topical ointment. Now, I want to say there's a concoction I mix up sometimes where I combine two other ingredients with DMSO that works even better than the DMSO by itself. DMSO, you could buy like a 99% concentration gel, but 70% to 90% actually penetrates and works better than 99%. That's just how it is. It actually works better not being as concentrated, 70% to 90%. So 70% will work fine. But what you could do is combine DMSO 99% with a couple other ingredients. Now, the one thing you really have to be careful with is that DMSO, when you apply it to the skin, it will go directly all the way through the muscle, right to the bone, which is good when you're dealing with internal injuries and you want to bring down some inflammation. You want to bring more blood flow. You want to help, heal that part of the body faster. Yes, that's great. But if you have, say, a contaminant on your skin, like I don't know, whether it's just some dirty motor oil or something, whatever, some kind of contaminant, and you put that DMSO on your skin over that contaminant, it will deliver that contaminant directly into the bloodstream. So whenever you're using this product, you want to actually make sure that your skin is perfectly clean. And again, they do not sell this as a product for, addressing situations where you have a knee injury or you have a sports-related injury or have arthritis or whatever, or pain in the joints, really sore muscles or whatever. Now, when you're using this product too, like I said, be very careful that the skin is clean and what you mix it with. You want to mix it with something that's totally harmless, because whatever you mix it with something that is not the best thing for the body, or has other ingredients in it that are not good to be absorbed into the body, they're only meant to be used topically, you don't want to be doing that. That could be harmful. And actually, some of that theory, it's not a theory actually, but some of that method of applying harmful ingredients inside the to a person was actually used in special forces in Vietnam by the U.S. Army Special Forces in Vietnam and employed against the enemy. And that might also be partly why this product was not for general consumers for many years after after they discovered all its great properties. They decided to take it off the market. But we know what happened though. Even though it was illegal for a number of years, it was still widely used in all the professional sports players. Like somebody's like a baseball pitcher, they might have a bad elbow from throwing the ball so much. They have so much inflammation in the elbow, and the DMSO would give you almost instantaneous relief of swelling and pain, and actually help heal the area faster. Now, I want to get onto that about healing and also, even the inflammation and pain aspect, because what you can do is mix it with Arnica Montana Creme. They will sell product. Often they sell Arnica Montana Creme. You can get this on eBay. You can get DMSO 99% gel on eBay, and you can mix the two. And I'm going to say another ingredient to mix with it. You can make your own, really good formula for, addressing problems whereby you have, joint pain, you have back pain or whatever, muscle spasms or whatever, or you had an injury. Arnica Montana is a flower, and this is something that's been known for like back pain or arthritis. You can use it in a cream. A lot of times, this cream comes with DMSO mixed with it, or you can even take it in a pill form under the tongue, so it absorbs into the bloodstream. And you will actually, there's been a lot of, I talked to a former surgeon. The former surgeon actually told me his wife, well, when she was alive anyway, she used to have these back pain all the time, and she used to try all these different pills, whenever she had her back pain. And somebody in Switzerland, because this is more known in Europe, the Arnica Montana, told her to take this Arnica Montana pill, and she put it under the tongue and let it absorb into the bloodstream. Now you got to watch with this, because if you have a heart condition, you don't want to use it. That's one of the, but it's an over-the-counter thing. It's not a medicine. It's not prescribed. But that's the one thing you might have to be careful with if you have a serious heart condition. You don't want to be taking Arnica Montana, but it worked for her instantly. He could not believe it. Usually if she started getting that back pain, it would be days before she can get up. It was a matter of, some hours she was able to get up and walk around. So, that's actually where I found out about this, through the doctor, this former surgeon. And he was surprised because he says he never heard of this in all the years he was practicing medicine in Arnica, Montana. Now if you look on Wikipedia, Arnica Montana, it'll tell you it's an anti-inflammatory. It's for pain and pain management. And they'll tell you there's no empirical evidence to show that it works. But they also tell you, which it's like they're making contradictory statements within their own article on Wikipedia. They'll also tell you that, and I don't know if this article's still the same because I read it years ago, but they also tell you that in the case where other medications did not work to relieve pain of joints or back pain, that they would use Arnica Montana as a last resort. Well, from the experience of my surgeon friend and his problems with his wife's back, he was surprised how well it worked. Because I remember he told me they had to get on the plane in Switzerland from the skiing trip, and she kind of hurt her back from twisting it around, and she was like, how the hell am I going to get to the plane? Usually it's days before I can get up off the bed. And they said it was an herbalist in Switzerland that suggested this. Now, you could buy Arnica Montana Creme. I'm not going to tell you vendor. I'm not here to promote vendors. But you can go on eBay and you can see Arnica Montana Creme. And it has some DMSO in it, sometimes like 10%. But you can put more DMSO in it, like you can get 99% DMSO gel, and make it a stronger mixture of DMSO in the Arnica Montana Creme. Now, the final ingredient I would say to put in there, and this is not guesswork, is coconut oil. Coconut oil is actually one of the most healthy oils there is on the planet. It's always on the top list of the 10 most powerful miracle foods out there. Coconut oil. Coconut oil. Um, I know some people. I've heard disinformation that it raises cholesterol. It does not raise cholesterol. That's BS. That's bogus. It even helps with people that have diabetes too, because coconut oil can be used to. People will more rapidly synthesize this type of fat from coconut oil into fuel to the body because it's a medium chain triglyceride. It's readily synthesized into energy, whereas other types of fats are not. They have to go through the liver. The medium chain triglyceride is easily synthesized into the body very quickly, into energy. And when you're using this as more of an energy source in your body, it means that you're not raising your sugar levels. So that's another separate subject, but it's another good use of this product. Coconut oil has got so many uses. As a matter of fact, it's an antimicrobial. So in other words, if you have an area that maybe has some type of infection in it, and you're applying coconut oil mixed with DMSO cream and Arnica Montana cream, the coconut oil actually has an antimicrobial in it because it has 47%, approximately 47% lauric acid. You see, lauric acid in a coconut oil, and this is very, very interesting because lauric acid will dissolve the outside lipid cell wall of any virus out there. The big problem is, sometimes you got or bacteria that has a lipid cell wall. It doesn't even matter if the virus mutates or if the infection mutates to something else. The coconut oil will work against it because all viri have a lipid cell wall. So it doesn't even matter if it mutated. It works against any of them. It's not like a medication where it's only work on some. The genome changes. You got to change the medication. Well, no, the coconut oil works pretty much on the vast majority of pathogens, and it does work on all viri. Because of the lauric acid, which will dissolve the outside lipid cell wall of the virus, which causes the viri to fall apart. So if you have inflammation and swelling, and maybe it's an injury that has some infection inside, and the body's fighting it off because it was a traumatic injury that caused a skin break or whatever the hell it was. The coconut oil works like an antiseptic. It'll work where when you have cuts, you can put it over a cut, and the cut is antiseptic, and the coconut oil also has the nutrition for the skin to help heal. But on top of it, when you're combining the Arnica Montana for the the pain management, the anti-swelling, and you're also combining it with the DMSO, which is also for anti-swelling, pain management, and blood stimulation, and speeding of the healing process. You have a winning combination, and it's cheap. It's cheap. Coconut oil you can get, I don't know, about 12 ounces for $12. About that. It's a rough price. You can get it cheaper than that. It can be more expensive. DMSO cream, you can get a good size 16-ounce jar for about $20. You can get Arnica Montana cream for about $20. But then you're talking about you got like a whole over quart of concoction for about, I don't know, $50. And normally when you're using products of that type to address pain in the elbow and that are high quality products, you might pay $20 for 2 to 4 ounces. And here you'd have like 36 ounces for $50, which works out like a little over $1 something an ounce. So if you're talking about 4 ounces, it might be $5 worth. So it's a lot cheaper, but it's very, very, very effective. So hopefully I didn't confuse anybody on this. Kind of did this right off the top of my head because I'm pretty damn knowledgeable on this subject. And actually, this is something I researched a while ago, and it's a concoction I make, and I used to use a lot more when I was working out every day for 3 hours a day, and sometimes my knee would start give me a little bit of problem, and before it gave me a real problem, like say I'd be using an elliptical machine, I'd be on there for an hour or so, and sometimes, the joint, it's not like it's really injured, but it's starting to just do something where something's not in place exactly right. I don't know how to describe it. You're starting to feel a little tinge of pain. When I start feeling that little tinge of pain, I would take that concoction I just talked about, which is DMSO cream, Arnica Montana cream, with some coconut oil mixed, and I put it on my knee, and it would instantly, alleviate when it was just starting to happen, and I just continue to work out, and there'd be no problem because I think it does. It actually improves the blood flow and reduces the swelling. Sometimes when you have a little bit of irritation in a joint, what happens is you get swelling, and then the swelling leads to lack of blood flow, and then the swelling leads to more irritation because there's less fluids moving around, and it's tightening everything up in that joint. So as soon as you lower that swelling and you keep that blood flow moving around, um, it seems to prevent further injury very well. And I've found this out from experience. It's just been my personal experience, but used to be a maniac at working out a lot. Maybe I'll get back into it. Maybe we'll do a couple hours of working out here tonight. But anyway, just figured to put this out. This is really a freaking outstanding product in my opinion, but can be further improved by two other products. Again, DMSO, 99% gel. You don't want to use 99% gel straight. If you actually just use DMSO by itself as a gel, you want to get to 70%. That's the ideal, most powerful, most penetrating absorbent. You want to be very careful that your skin is very clean when you're using this product, and because anything that's on the skin that's a contaminant will, if you put the DMSO over it, it will absorb it directly into the bloodstream. But you just do these little precautions. So what I used to get was I still have it. I mean, the 99% DMSO cream, the Arnica Montana cream, which had DMSO in it and some herbal ingredients. It's available on eBay. I'm not going to give you a vendor, but you can just look it up. And then I got coconut oil, and I put a little coconut oil, and it was basically about 50% DMSO cream to 50% Arnica Montana. And I know that's 50-50, that's 100, but maybe it was like in a little bit, some coconut oil. I know then you're getting up to 120%, so it really would have been 40%, 40%, 20% coconut oil, or maybe even 10% coconut oil. You use a lot of coconut oil in this mixture, it gets too oily. You just use a little. But I like the idea of the coconut oil because it is antimicrobial and it's so nutritious. Because it's bringing that nutrition when the DMSO is penetrating all the way deep down into the injury. It's also bringing that nutritious antiviral coconut oil deep into the injury too. See, that's my theory. And I tell you what, in my experience, that homemade concoction worked like crazy, and I just can't say enough about it. It's I guess it's a little expensive when you're talking about you're buying the big jars. You're buying a 16-ounce jar of DMSO and a 16-ounce jar of Arnica Montana and a 12-ounce of coconut oil. Well, but the thing is, you can make a big giant, liter and a half container of this stuff practically that'll last you like, forever practically. And that's the point. So anyway, I figured I'd pass this on. That's been one trick I used to do, and it's actually well known. The thing is, you really can't market DMSO as a something to heal the body. It's not. They'll tell you it's for a solvent, but it is an ingredient in some of the best sports medicine or sports creams out there. In some of them, for not that many. Like one product is, I think, Penetrex. I think it runs $20 for like 2 ounces. So you see how expensive some of that stuff can get. It doesn't just have Arnica Montana and some others. It has a lot of herbs in it, but it has about 10% DMSO. That's a very, very good product too. But I'm just trying to tell you something where you can make something in bulk that is very good, and when you're making it in bulk, it's going to last you years probably, for all I know, whatever. It should last you a very long time. And you could probably just, instead of getting 16 ounce, I got the 16 ounce ones, but I think there's 8 ounces of DMSO, 99% or 4 ounces. I got the 16 because it was more economical. I made a big bulk thing of it, so. And you don't have to use my strict recommendations on, 40% DMSO, 99% gel with 40% Arnica Montana cream and 20% coconut oil, or 45%, 45%, 10% coconut oil. And I don't use an exact measurement. I know that. It's kind of like not the smallest ingredient I put in there is the coconut oil. And it's not an exact science, really. But, it's not something you really got to measure. Like, it's not a pharmaceutical or something. It's just a ointment. That's all the hell it is. And it works very good. And don't underestimate the power of the Arnica Montana flower. It's not that well here known in the United States. As a matter of fact, you walk in any store, you'll never find it. You can have Arnica Montana cream, and you can have Arnica Montana pills. Actually, the pills are very cheap. But if you have a heart condition, you don't want to be taking those pills. But the pills are only for, like, if you got pain or some really problem with your back, that type of stuff. They could work from the inside out through the bloodstream. So, but Arnica Montana is well known in the UK, more well known, maybe not super well known, more well known in the UK, and also in Europe. But over here, nah, not in the United States. So, anyway, hopefully I gave you a couple good hints here and some good information that you can take the ball and run with it.